History of Rome. The well-known phrase, "all roads lead to Rome," isn't only a metaphor. If we talk about the history of Rome, then all courses did, in reality, emanate from the capital of the Roman Empire. Rome, the Eternal City, was viewed as the biggest capital of the world, leader of a kingdom extending from Gaul and Spain in the west to Egypt and Asia. In addition to the fact that it was an imaginative Mecca during the Renaissance and an asylum for wealthy travelers in the 19th century yet, as the main point of Christianity and home of the seat of the Roman Catholic Church from the primary Holy Year, 1300, it has kept up its cosmopolitan call. However, Rome isn't a city that stops. In the 27 centuries of its reality, it has seen multiple empires up and downfall, popes and Caesars go back and forth, and creative developments thrive and fade. Timeline history of Rome. 753 BC. The foundation of Rome. By the most recent century BC, Romans accepted that Rome had been established in exactly 753 BC. The debated story was that the twins Romulus and Remus, children of the god Mars, were left to pass on by being placed in a bushel, set helpless on the bank of River Tiber. The vessel, in the end, came shorewards later site of Rome. The name Romulus exactly was made up from that of Rome itself, and archaeology has exposed proof of settlement on the Palatine Hill as soon as 1000 BC. 509 BC. The creation of the Roman Republic. Similarly, as with the creation of the city, later Romans accepted they knew the exact date of the start of the Republic, 509 BC, when the seventh and last ruler of Rome, the overbearing Tarquinius Superbus, was thought to have been expelled by a blue-blooded coup. The republican process itself was based around the possibility that individually a group of people reserved the privilege to pass laws and choose officers. 338 BC. The settlement of the Latin War. Somewhere around 341 and 338 BC, the Romans confronted a resistance by their adjoining Latin partner groups. After Rome alleviated its successor, the settlement they forced supported the resulting Roman successes of Italy and abroad regions. The Latins and other Italian alliances were illegal to direct diplomacy or go into deals with different states. 264 to 146 BC. The Punic Wars. Rome consistently battled three severe wars in the giant North African city of Carthage. These are called the Punic Wars, from the Latin name for Carthaginians, Poni. The First Punic War, 264 to 241 BC, was held about control of the island of Sicily. The Second Punic War, 218 to 201 BC, viewed the renowned attack of Italy via Carthaginian general Hannibal, and the Third Punic War, 149 to 146 BC, was an inevitable result, in which Rome was at last effective in breaking its opposite rival. The second and first centuries BC, the Hellenization of Rome. During the previous 2 centuries, Rome vanquished the Eastern Mediterranean by overcoming the Hellenistic empires established by the replacements of Alexander the Great. The Roman higher classes accepted Greek literature and philosophy, art and engineering, and by the most recent century BC, it was important to be completely acquainted with Greek culture to be acknowledged as a core member from the Roman upper class due to their connection with Greek. 67 to 62 BC. Pompey in the East. The adventures of Pompey in the eastern Mediterranean were more critical in the development of Rome. Pompey at first went toward the east in 67 BC as an effective part of his mission against privateers who were invading the Mediterranean. Having damaged the privateers in only 3 months, in 66 BC Pompey prevailing to the order against the longer enemy of Rome, Mithridates VI of Pontus. 31 BC AD 14, Augustus reintroduces monarchy to Rome. The extension of the kingdom broken the Roman Republic. After a welter of civil wars, Augustus comes up as the victor, flaunting that he had re-established the Republic. Augustus went through several years while exploring different positions regarding his sacred position. His point was neither to cover up his sole guideline, nor to make a joint standard among himself and the Senate. AD 235 to 284, the 3rd century crisis. In the last 50 years among AD 235 and 284, the Roman Empire had hugely suffered ongoing political and military vulnerability. 3 elements brought the emergency. In the east, Continuous Roman attack and bombarding had sabotaged the Acid army of Parthia. Roman trade and diplomatic strategy had supported the development of huge and hazardous brute confederations, and a significant war was brought up for the power of the ruler. AD 312. Constantine converts to Christianity. At the War of the Milvian Bridge in AD 312, the ruler Constantine sent his soldiers into battle with crosses painted on their protection. Constantine's transformation to Christianity deeply affected European and world history. In AD 249, in the face of scaling challenges and looking to re-establish divine kindness to Rome, the ruler Decius requested every one of his concerns to struggle to the agnostic divine gods. AD 410. The fall of Rome. In AD 410, the Goths terminated the city of Rome. After 66 years, Romulus Augustulus, the little emperor, was dismissed, and the Roman Empire in the West was at a lasting stage. In ancient times, a few researchers have contended that Rome's breakdown was a cycle of accommodation and bargain between the Romans and the different barbarian groups. Others, all the more adequately, have emphasized the brutality, destruction, and terror of its defeat. Amazing facts about Rome. Rome, catching the curiosity of 7 to 10 million tourists consistently each year, the Eternal City is overflowing with history, creative art, and tasty food. Being at the center of attention for centuries, you would think about Rome's mysteries are uncovered to the public eye. Here are top fun facts about Rome which you genuinely need to know. Today, Rome consists of 280 fountains and more than 900 oldest churches that travelers and local people can explore all year. Cats are freely allowed to roam around in Rome. While visiting Rome, you will actually experience seeing many cats resting in the remains of the Forum and strolling on the walls of the Colosseum. The Romans' eyes were greater than their stomach, and it was basic for residents to vomit in their dinners so they could keep on eating more. Men could just wear robes freely, as it was an indication of Roman citizenship. Women wore stolas, which was the female adaptation of a frock. The 3,000 euros coins are accumulated from the lower part of the Trevi fountain every night. This cash is given to a Catholic foundation, Caritas, which utilizes the cash to help poor families in Rome. Roman life partners kiss their spouses on the mouth toward the day's end. Throughout the fights at the Colosseum, it is assessed that more than 500,000 individuals and 1 million wild animals died during wars. The Roman ruler Gaius Caligula did some sketchy things, including making his horse an official, submitting inbreeding with his sisters, and taking care of prisoners to wild animals. Rome wasn't generally the capital city. It took the title of capital city from Florence in 1870. The image SPQR, which is tracked down everywhere in the city of Rome, means Senatus Populus Romanus, which signifies the Senate and people of Rome. The Roman Emperor Trajan founded the first true shopping center. It contained numerous levels and more than 150 outlets that sold everything going from food to garments. Before toilet tissue was discovered, the old Romans utilized a wet wipe and running water in open bathrooms. Conclusion: there were numerous remarkable historical occasions in Rome, and Rome experienced emotional transformations to its political and social constructions, religion, and beautiful architecture. It is accepted that Rome had the most exceptional design, culture, and social architecture, and this has extraordinarily affected later cultures throughout the globe. Latest Rome has 280 emerging fountains and more than 900 huge churches, with the oldest architecture. Almost 700,000 euros of coins are thrown into Rome's Trevi fountain every year. Rome is renowned for having astounding food items and is the place where the ancient Romans made long-term systems and building structures that we still prefer today.